All right, everyone. Who is still up out there in viewerland? Who is still up? Let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. That will tell me that the technology is working the way that it is supposed to be working. As you guys can see, I am still in the Hyatt Place in Boulder, Colorado. I am going back to the East Coast into the DMV tomorrow, very early in the morning. But this is my last night here in this room. When I am in hotel rooms, this is what I do now. I go live on my smartphone because I have the 5G signal. I tried doing this on my laptop computer in Indianapolis for last year's Big Ten championship game, and it didn't work out too well. So this is hotel protocol going forward. And then again, that wasn't the best hotel, in my opinion. I won't stay in that hotel or any others like it at that time. So let's see who is still up on the East Coast. Right now, it is in Mountain Time. It is what? It's 7:57. So it's almost 8 o'clock in the Mountain Time zone. Okay, there's me. There is an ad. Okay. Let me see. I have a comment here by PJ Graham. Go Blue, man. PJ, thank you for being here and thank you for coming up. I should have told my crew, the Gaines brothers, that I was going live tonight, but it's almost 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So whoever comes through, comes through. If you're just coming in, whoever comes in, please smash that like button. The likes are free and they help out with the engagement. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel. I want to thank everyone who recently subscribed. There's something about Michigan football. There's something about Michigan football, and there's something about when the team is doing well, and the team is doing really well right now. So, hey, I have to get up early to get on a flight, so I'm not going to prolong this. PJ says, first of all, he says, go Blue, man. And then he says, hail to the most complete football team in the country. All right now, all right. There's a team sitting on top of us in the top 25. All right, so they might have something to say about that. But hey, Joel Klatt. I was just watching Joel Klatt's video on JJ, and Joel Klatt pretty much said the same thing. He said Michigan looks like the truth. PJ Fleck, after the beatdown we gave his team on Saturday, he said that, yeah, Michigan is as advertised and Michigan is the truth. So, yeah, I think they, going into those last 3 games, they just have to not get complacent, not get cocky, and stay healthy. And then Joe Flack, see, I'm tired. I have to get up early in the morning. Joel Klatt. Why am I thinking Joe Flacco? Joel Klatt. He said something interesting in his video, and that's that what will happen to our team if another team pulls us off schedule? And what's going to happen to our team if another team comes in and makes the game, how should I say this? What happens when another team comes in and makes our team do things that they're not used to doing when they're not used to doing them, a la the TCU game, right? So Michigan looks good. They're looking dominant. They're looking strong, right? But so far, they're playing lesser opponents. And what are they going to do? How will our Wolverines respond when, if they play a team that muddies the game up and takes our team off schedule and makes our team uncomfortable the way TCU did? Really, Chris, thank you for stopping through. Always a pleasure to see you show up there in the chat. I'm going to play Let's Go Blue, and then I'm going to get to the prediction, and then I'm going to wrap this up because it's late here and I have an early flight in the morning. So let's go Blue. Let me find it here. Yep, there it is, right under Lou Holtz. Please smash that like button if you haven't. I like that picture of the team where they're all laying back and hamming for the camera. Uh, Coach Harbaugh was standing behind Michael Barrett there, number 23, Michael Barrett. If you're looking for him, he was standing behind Michael Barrett. But PJ made a comment here. Boa constrictors unite. So that's the analogy that Joel Klatt used to describe the team. The team slowly wraps itself around you, and then it suffocates you and suffocates you and suffocates you and suffocates you. This has been against lesser opponents. Let's see what happens against Penn State, probably Maryland, and definitely against Ohio State. By the way, this is just an inquiry about a comrade and a peer. I noticed Johnny didn't go live, or Johnny didn't give a reaction video. I didn't see one on Saturday night, and I didn't see anything yesterday from the great Johnny Olden. So I hope he's okay. Normally, the game did end late on the East Coast, but normally Johnny puts up something after the game, then he does something on Sunday, and then he does something on Monday. So Johnny Olden, I hope you are okay out there, brother. All right. Everyone, please smash that like button if you haven't. Okay, so Michigan, I'm going to be reading off my screen here. So Michigan, let's see, right now is ranked. I'm going to run through the top 25 really quickly. The top two did not change. Georgia is ranked number 1. Michigan is ranked number 2. Ohio State crept up, and they are ranked number 3. Florida State is ranked number 4. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know if this is a typo. This says Penn State number 6. So who's number 5? Okay. Well, this says Penn State number 6. Washington is number 7. And then okay, no. Those are just the results from the games. Okay, these are the rankings. Georgia's number 1, Michigan's number 2, Ohio State's number 3, Florida State's number 4, Oklahoma's number 5, Penn State's number 6, Washington is number 7, and Oregon is number 8, and Texas is number 9, and USC is number 10. That's USC on the West Coast. I have a buddy coming to talk about the Buffalo Bills tomorrow night. He lives in the Southeast, and in the Southeast, USC means the University of South Carolina. PJ says, in your opinion, what is our biggest weakness, if there is any? Well, I think there was, with the injuries, there was uncertainty with the secondary. But it looks like we have Rod Moore and we have Will Johnson back. And hey, Will Johnson opened the game with that pick 6. So Will Johnson seems to be back to being Will Johnson. So I think that's it. I think the offensive line is probably still gelling a little bit, but it looks like they're rounding into shape. And overall, the team looks pretty strong. Though I was looking at the Big Ten statistics before starting this stream, and the teams that are expected to compete for the conference in the Big Ten East are leading in the statistics: total points scored, total offense, total defense. Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State are right up there at the top. All right, so that's the top 25. Michigan is coming off of a 50-10 beatdown of the Minnesota Golden Gophers in Minneapolis. And up next is the Indiana Hoosiers back at the Big House. So the Wolverines are going home. I have a piece here with the prediction. You guys know that I like to read the predictions. I'm not going to read this one verbatim because I can't pull it up on my screen share from my cell phone here. So I'm just going to give you what the point total that Michigan is predicted to win by. So in this game, back at the Big House, Michigan is predicted to win by 22 points. So the computers and the odds makers out in Vegas or wherever they are picking the Wolverines to win this one going away once again. And they should probably stomp Indiana the way they stomped Minnesota. That's what I'm thinking. Let me take a look. I did take a look at Indiana's last game. Indiana was on a bye last week, so they did not play. But I did take a quick look at their stats. By the way, if you like to bet the points, my uncles and my brother, they like to bet the points. They don't care about who wins the games. They don't care about rankings. They bet the points. So if you're going to bet the points, then the over-under is 57.5. All right. So Indiana was on a bye last week. Before that, they lost to the Maryland Terrapins, who is our second to last Big Ten game. They lost to Maryland 44-17. That was in College Park, Maryland. So in that game, Indiana's quarterback, Taven Jackson went 17 for 29 for 113 yards and 1 interception. Okay, that's not going to get it done against our defense. In terms of rushing yards, this Turner kid, Christian Turner, he carried the ball 15 times for 61 yards. That's not going to get it done against our defense. Please smash the like button. If you're just coming in, please consider subscribing if you are not subscribed and if you are new. Their leading wide receiver was Donovan McCulley. Donovan McCulley, was that kid 6'5"? Yeah, that kid is 6'5". Donovan McCulley is 6'5" and 200 pounds. So I would expect to see a lot of jump balls thrown his way. But against Maryland, he caught 6 balls for 79 yards and 1 touchdown. So that's not going to get it done against our defense. PJ says, PJ, thank you for keeping my chat active tonight. Please keep going. He says, the one thing I could take away from our games so far is that when these boys are out there having so much damn fun, they're unstoppable. All right. PJ, take a deep breath. Stay calm. Keep it calm. Remember, the ups are coming up in November. Okay, these are these are still the warm-up games. These are Big Ten games, but these are still the warm-up games. We have to get through these undefeated, but the true tests are in November. So in that game, Talia Tungavailoa, he's one of the quarterbacks our Wolverines are going to face in November. He went 24 for 34 for 352 yards and 5 touchdowns against that Indiana defense. So that tells me our offense should slice these guys up. This Hemby kid, I think it's Raheem Hemby for Maryland. He carried the ball 14 times for 54 yards. Our running backs and our offensive line should generate more ground yardage than that. And Maryland's Ty Felton, he caught 7 balls for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson should have good games on Saturday. So in terms of the team stats against Maryland, Indiana gained 20 first downs. They were 5 for 17 on third down, and they were 3 for 6 on fourth down. That's not going to cut it against our defense. They generated 321 total yards against Maryland. They generated 205 passing yards against Maryland. Let's see. They generated 116 rushing yards against Maryland. And they had 4 penalties for 30 yards and 1 turnover. And they held the ball longer than Maryland did. So they held the ball for 38 minutes and 4 seconds. But Maryland was able to outgain them and outproduce them on offense. So, yeah, Michigan should win this one going away. So I'm going to go over some of the Big Ten, the total team stats really, really quickly. Then I'm going to wrap this stream up. Again, Michigan is picked to win this game by 22 points. So right now, and I think as the season goes on from this point, I will start going over some of the Big Ten statistics, because on the Big Ten website, they start compiling all of the statistics for the football team. So I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm not going to go over everything, but right now, in terms of scoring offense, it's a dead heat between the 3 teams that are picked to win the Big Ten East and to go on to become the eventual Big Ten champion. So Penn State right now is number 1 in scoring offense. Michigan is number 2 in scoring offense. And Ohio State is number 3 in scoring offense. In terms of defense, Michigan is number 1 in scoring defense. Penn State is number 2 in scoring defense. And Ohio State is number 3 in scoring defense. Now, in terms of total yardage allowed and production, offensively, Ohio State is number 1 in overall offense. Penn State is number 2 in overall offense. Maryland is number 3 in overall offense. And Michigan is number 4 in overall offense. Michigan, in terms of overall offense, Michigan has generated, 2,489 yards. Wait a minute, is that right? Okay, this is the average. I'm looking at the total yards. So Michigan is averaging 414.8 yards per game on offense. Maryland is averaging 429.3 yards per game on offense. Penn State is averaging 430.4 yards per game on offense. And Ohio State is averaging 434.4 yards per game on offense. Not much difference between those top 4 teams, but Michigan is right there. So in terms of total team defense, Penn State is ranked number 1. They are allowing an average of 210.6 yards per game. Michigan is number 2. And our Wolverines defense, coached by Jesse Minter, we are allowing an average of 233.3 yards per game on defense. Ohio State is next with 264.8 yards per game for defense, and then Rutgers is next after them. I'm going to take a look here at the rushing yards. In terms of rushing offense, Michigan is number 4. So we're averaging 185.2 yards per game. In terms of rushing defense, Michigan is number 3, and we are our defense is allowing 90.8 yards of rushing, 90.8 rushing yards per game. All right. In terms of passing yardage, Michigan is ranked number 7. So Michigan is allowing 229.7 yards per game. I'm sorry. It's late. I have an early flight in the morning. No, Michigan is generating, not allowing, generating. Michigan is generating 229.7 yards per game. Ohio State is generating 302.8 yards per game through the air. Okay, so we're right there in the middle, but that's our style of play on offense. We have a balanced offense. So, okay, so passing defense. Ohio State is ranked number 1. Ohio State is allowing 136.4 yards of a passing offense. And Michigan is number 2, allowing 142.5 yards per game in terms of passing offense. And Ohio State is number 3, and they're allowing 158.4 yards per game in terms of passing offense. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're just coming in, no matter how long you stay, please smash that like button. Those are free. If you are new, please consider subscribing. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. If you see fit, please smash that like button and also consider subscribing. PJ says, I hope it snows in Ann Arbor again in late, I think you mean November, because that's when Ohio State is coming in. I hope so too. That's going to make it a little more. Then both teams are going to have to contend with the elements. So, but what did Ryan Day say, PJ? Ryan Day thinks his team can handle it this year because they're tough.
Like I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe.
Okay, I don't have the other one in there but Ryan Day, they're tough this year. They're tough, so they can come in and they can play in the snow and they can take on anything. That's a tough team. He's got a tough team this year. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap this stream up. Let me take a look at the defense really quickly. I think Michigan is allowing I think the fewest sacks in 6 games, and Michigan in terms of sacks by. Michigan has generated 14 sacks. Penn State is leading the Big Ten with 20 sacks. So, guys, you can look these statistics up yourself. But on defense, Penn State looks pretty good. So I think not only is that going to be a hostile environment in Happy Valley, but it looks like Penn State is playing defense this year. So keep your eyes out for that when the Wolverines go out to Happy Valley. They're playing some offense, but Penn State looks like they're playing some defense as well. PJ says, I hope it snows in Ann Arbor again in late December. PJ, don't you mean November? In late December, Michigan should be getting ready for the playoff. I think you mean November. Ohio State is coming in November. It's all good, bro. It's late. It's late here in the Mountain Time Zone. My body is still kind of on East Coast time. Please smash that like button if you haven't. I'm going over the prediction for Saturday's game. For the people who have just come in, Michigan is picked to win this game on Saturday by 22 points. Before I shut the stream down, if you guys have comments, I'll let this go a little bit longer. but that's pretty much what I wanted to go over. So statistically, yeah, Michigan, based upon where they're ranked and based upon what we've seen against Minnesota and Rutgers and Nebraska, yeah, Michigan should beat Philly. They should stomp Indiana as well. The one thing you have to look for are the unforeseen injuries to key players, and you just gotta hope the team doesn't become complacent and cocky. Because in that picture, in the aftermath of the Minnesota game, they're hamming it up. They're having a good time. And when you hear Joel Klatt say things like Michigan has separated themselves, Georgia and Michigan have separated themselves. Now, if you're the coaching staff, you gotta keep the kids focused and not let that go to their heads. When it goes to their heads, that's when you have an upset. The victor says, go blue, 38-10 is my prediction. Hey guys, didn't it feel good to see the score get up into the 50s? Didn't that feel good? Yeah, that was awesome. I think we were looking for that the entire in the first three games. That's what we were looking for. We were looking for Michigan to get up there in the 50s, in the 40s, and the 50s, and they did that on Saturday. But the big thing is those two scores came from the defense. So the offense, let's see, subtract 14 from 52, 38. So the offense did what it's been doing, but it was the defense that put those extra 2 touchdowns up on the board. And it was to the point where they were able to pull the starters for the entire fourth quarter. Antoine says, hey, bro, have you noticed Michigan is playing a second grouping of offensive line, which I predicted they would probably use, but if it becomes a thing, we would totally smash entire out teams. Do you mean, Antoine, do you mean a defensive line? Because typically, as a coaching staff, you want to stick with your offensive line because that's all about chemistry. I think you mean the defensive line, because if you can keep rotating in the defensive linemen like the Jimmy Johnson Dallas Cowboys, now you can wear down the opposing offensive line. Is that what you mean, the defensive line? But yeah, those guys are looking really, really good. PJ Graham says, when was the last time a team played everyone except their backup long snapper from their roster? Antoine says, no, bro, offensive line. Okay, so you meant the offensive line. All right. Okay, yeah, I can't think of I can't remember another team doing that. Starting to play their second string offensive linemen. Antoine says, this is huge. The victors said it was cool to see Blake tie Mike Hart in career touchdowns at Michigan with 41. Do you think he will pass Denard's 47 for the number 2 spot? I think he will, but he isn't going to get a train. Yeah, if Blake is at 41, yeah, he definitely will pass Denard by the end of the season, assuming he stays healthy. There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, our running back stable is looking good, especially with Khalil Mullings starting to produce the way he's producing. How about Khalil Mullings? A bigger and more physical runner, that's only going to help us. The victors, okay, ABM Webby. Is that Abraham Webby? Is that ABM Webby? I don't know. He says Alabama does it too. Okay, so Alabama also rotates in offensive linemen. PJ Graham says, not much anymore, ABM. Okay. Yeah, Alabama is trying to. Where's Alabama ranked right now? Alabama is, they're ranked number 11. So they're not having they're not having an Alabama-esque year. Okay. Hey, Antoine, quick question. Did you see? I probably shouldn't draw too much attention to this, but I'm used to seeing him go live. Did you see Johnny go live? I didn't see Johnny go live this weekend. Maybe he did and I missed it, but I hope he's good. I hope he's good. All right, everyone. Yeah, this should be. I'm not going to go much longer. This should be smooth sailing up until November 11th. Okay, so you put up a couple of videos. Okay, maybe my YouTube algorithm is just, maybe I just overlooked them. Okay. Yeah, so up until November 11th, this should be smooth sailing. But it's those final three, though. Those are the ones that we need to take a look at. Those are the ones that the team needs to be concerned about. Let's see. The Victors says, really good to see Mullings improving. Usually the championship teams you see in January have 3 caliber backs. Yeah, so Raheem Gaines, an Ohio State fan, he asked me on Saturday night, was I concerned about Donovan? And I said no, because I think Donovan, with he's sharing the carries now with 2 other backs. And when Donovan goes on the field, they are handing the ball off to him sometimes, but they're also lining him up as the slot receiver. So he's not playing the same role that he played in the Ohio State game last year, where he was the number 1 back. So he's splitting time with the other backs, and they're using him as an all-purpose weapon, like one of the St. Louis Rams from the early 2000s. So no, I'm not worried about Donovan right now. And he looked energized on Saturday. So I'm not worried about Donovan. All right, 32 minutes. We're at 32 minutes. ABM Webby says, no, I was just speaking on the lineman rotation. Please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free and they help out a whole lot. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to wrap this up before the phone overheats. On Saturday night, the phone overheated, and something technical happened after it did. But I appreciate you guys keeping the chat active. I always love when you come through, Antoine, because you have a keen eye for everything. Let's see. ABM Webby says, now there are things that have to come together for this to happen. You know, Michigan has to stay focused and Michigan has to stay healthy. He says, I believe the championship game will be Georgia versus Michigan. I haven't taken a hard look at Georgia yet. I need to. I know that they have the big tight end back, but I haven't seen who has replaced Stetson Bennett yet. So I need to sit down. Maybe this weekend I'll do it. Me and Raheem Gaines will be watching football at Buffalo Wild Wings. But I need to see who their new quarterback is. But yeah, right now, if everything holds and we're number 1 and if they're number 1 and we're number 2, they're going to seat us on opposite sides, okay? And each of us will have to take care of their opponent, and then the national championship game, knock on wood, will be us against Georgia in a rematch from the 2021 season. Trevor Coles has entered the building. Antoine says, let's see. Blake will be the all-purpose back. Mullins will beat us to the short. He'll be our short 3rd down specialist, and Donovan will be the 3rd and long specialist catching the ball out of the backfield and occasionally running the ball. Yeah, I mean, why not have, if you have three horses back there and each can do something, why not use them? Treppa Cole says it's too early to call it. Treppa, are you referring to who's going to win the Big Ten East, or are you referring to, I don't think you're talking about the Michigan running record. I think you're talking about who's going to win the Big Ten East. Yeah. Antoine says the Pac-10 will cannibalize itself. Probably Oregon coming out of there, maybe if they don't beat each other up and give each other L's. Okay. And then PJ Graham says, absolutely Ohio, UGA, and everyone else has chinks in their armor. By the way, guys, I did see the writing conference I was at this weekend. A good amount of it took place at Folsom Field, and I was able to see the Colorado Buffaloes practicing today, this morning. I think it was their morning practice. I didn't have time to see if I could see Coach Prime, but I did see their players practicing. Their practice field is adjacent to Folsom Field. All right. Let's see. I think that's it. I need to end this before the phone heats up like it did on Saturday. All right, everyone, that's all I got. So Michigan is predicted to win the game by 22 points. So expect another, expect another lopsided victory. Boa constrictor. Choke the air out of you. At least until we get to Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State. So, all right, everyone, thank you. Thank you to you guys who came in and hung out in the chat. Live streams are more fun when they're interactive like this. Thank you to PJ, really Chris, who stopped through, Antoine, Trevor Coles, ABM Webby. Thank you to all of you who stopped through. I have some more comments here. Let's see. Antoine says Ohio State is terrible. Cut the cord. So he's got a nickname for Cal McCord. I got to tell Alex that when I talk to him again. Ohio State is terrible. Cut the cord. It's Caden McNamara without a running game, which, by the way, Ohio State don't have either. Imagine McNamara having to drop back and pass without a running game. By the way, things didn't work out for Cade at Iowa, so Cade is done at Iowa. But, okay, and I haven't had a chance to take a nice long look at Kyle McCord either. I probably will this Saturday. ABN Webby says, you do think Michigan will cover the spread this week, or not? LOL. Yeah, they'll cover. Yeah, they should win this one handily. Again, this one's going to be at home in our building. So, and if Talia Tagovailoa put up all those yards and all those touchdowns against this Indiana defense, why won't our offense do the same thing? All right, everyone, and there's PJ agreeing with Antoine about cut the cord. I got to remember that one. You guys are so creative. Cut the cord. All right, everyone, this is Big Discussion 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am a Michigan alum and a Michigan fan, a writer and a blogger and a scientist and all those fine things. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. If you see fit, please smash the like button and also consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to donate something, my Cash App and PayPal are in the description box. And you can also leave a super thanks if you see fit. During the live streams, the super chat is live, but any of those, if you feel moved to do it, those are much appreciated. The link to my newsletter is below. I'm not going to show that now because I'm doing this on my phone. And yeah, that's it. So look for a post game reaction on Saturday. Hopefully it's another W. It should be another W. But look for a post game reaction on Saturday. That's going to be my formula for the rest of the season. Post game, a pre-game show or prediction on Monday night, and then a post game reaction show immediately or sometime on Saturday after the game. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. If you are watching this on the playback, please let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, everyone, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Who's got it better than us? It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. I'm going to read this last comment from Antoine. He's on a roll. He says, I don't think Ohio State will not get past Penn State. People talking about Ohio State's receivers, they are just about mute without a quarterback. Marvin had to save them against the mutant turtles. Antoine is on a roll. Yeah, and so they always match up before we do. So one of those teams, let me take a quick look at that. Let me take a quick look at the Ohio State schedule. Since you mentioned that, Antoine. All right, so yeah, so they play next week. Yeah, Ohio State and Penn State. That's going to be at the Horseshoe. So one of those teams is going to have a loss on the night of October 21st. So one of those teams is probably going to fall out of contention. Well, no, because then the other two teams still have to play. So there's still a lot of football left to be played. But one of those teams is going to have a loss next week. Yeah, it's next week. All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Again, if you're watching on the playback, please let me know what you think in the comment section below about anything discussed in this live stream. And I will talk to you after Saturday's game. It's a noon kickoff, so it's going to wrap up, assuming no overtime, it's going to wrap up around 3:30. And I will talk to you all sometime after that. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, I have my buddy Coach Terry coming back, and we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars yesterday in the UK. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, we're going to go over to the NFL side and talk some Bills football. So, all right, everyone, have a good night. I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.